I've created a simple but really effective custom GPT that creates SQL queries, especially for BigQuery with knowledge about the bulk data export. And as you can see, I got this query here, and without changing a single line of code, I was able to put it right into my BigQuery node inside of n8n. I was able to execute it, and the data shows me clearly which URL, the current clicks, so the clicks that I received in the current period, compared to the period before, and everything is calculated within the SQL query. And I didn't write a single line by myself. And in this video, I am going to show you how you can use this custom GPT, including an example on how to create a really simple workflow where you, for instance, have a form to capture some data. This part here is optional. You can also set the data and give your variables a more descriptive key, and also how to use this BigQuery node. And I know this workflow seems to be really easy, and actually, it's also really easy, but as soon as you have access to the bulk data export, you can create really good automations for your own websites, where the majority is based on the BigQuery node. So as an example, here it's a report that's also generated by an n8n workflow, and the core logic is also based on BigQuery because all the data that is inside this report and also the recommendations are based on data that is coming from the Google Search Console. Here's another example where I'm also using BigQuery to capture data from my website so that I know exactly which URLs are declining, growing, and the same for keywords. And in case you want to create something that is more comprehensive, that would be also possible, like this report that shows me overall traffic data, traffic by devices, countries, the keyword position distribution. I have also a SQL query that is used for keyword ranking movement so that I know exactly how my keywords ranking are performing based on 2 different periods, so that I know exactly whatever I did before has a positive or negative impact. But even something really simple such as a content gap analysis is also possible by using the BigQuery node. So as you can see, this single node here can be really powerful as long as you know how to create SQL queries, or you are able to create them with any large language model. And the reason why this custom GPT is actually useful is because it knows exactly which tables are exported from the bulk data export. It knows how to write SQL queries for BigQuery, what are the schemas of these tables, so you don't have to provide any context. You can just simply ask for the data you want to analyze. And this custom GPT will take care of first writing the SQL query, but it will also help you to make the query work so that you can also copy paste it directly into your node inside of n8n. So let's start with a really simple example where I first create a new chat, and then you have a few question openers. But let's say I want to know how you can help me. And then based on the data that is attached to this custom GPT, it gives you directly a few examples and also the data that is required. And let's say I'm interested in this point, so keywords that are in the position between 4 and 15 for quick ranking lifts. And then I can simply copy this here, go to the chat, and tell the custom GPT that I want to analyze this one here. But you can also see there's another thing that we have to provide, and it's the BigQuery project ID and also the dataset name. This part here is optional, so you don't have to provide it, but if you do it right from the start, then it will also include the right table name, and then you don't have to copy paste it afterwards. So I will quickly grab it from here. So I can simply go to my Google Cloud project under datasets. And for this query, I will pick the table search data URL impression. And in case you don't know the name, then you can simply click on query, and then you will have after the from keyword the project ID, but also the complete table name. So we can simply copy it, go back to the custom GPT, just enter table name is this one, and then click on enter. And in this case, it asks me if I want to analyze my complete website or a specific URL. So in this case, I will just reply with the whole site. And now we got 2 different queries. So we can first test them in BigQuery itself. So we can copy the complete SQL query and simply paste it here, click on execute. After that, click on view results. And here we can see that we have in total 5 different queries that match these filters here. But the most important part is that this query worked right out of the box. So you don't have to explain every time what is the Google Search Console data about, what kind of properties are there, what do they mean, and also the dialect of BigQuery. So let's test also the other query again, copy it, go back to BigQuery, paste it, click on execute. And now we got on top of the query also the URL that is ranking for the specific keyword. But let's say you want to create an automation that will create a dashboard like this, or you simply want to grab the data and give it to a specific large language model, a specific context for one of your pages so that if it optimizes the content that it does it actually on your own data. Then we need to be able to paste this code into this node here. And right now it would not work. So first of all, let's copy the node, connect it with the edit fields node, because here we do have the start and end date and also the table name, because these variables are still important to be able to execute a SQL query. And the good thing is that we can simply copy the data from the previous node and then pass it to the Custom GPT, because this Custom GPT knows exactly how to transform a SQL query into a query that is also compatible with the BigQuery node. So go ahead, copy this one, go back to the Custom GPT, scroll down, and now we need to add some context. And in this example, we will take this query here. The prompt itself is quite easy. We just mention the query we want to use in our n8n workflow, and then we also pass the data from the previous node so that the workflow knows which variables it has to take. And I can also recommend to specify the date format, because it would be possible to say, let's take the last 28 days, but you can also use the actual date, which you would, for instance, capture in a form. So in this case, it's the year, month, and then the day. And now we got our query. We can copy it, go back to our n8n workflow, paste it here. And I just saw that I used the wrong JSON, but that doesn't matter. So we can simply remove it from here and connect it with the form itself. Because as you can see here, the variable name is start date, and then I renamed it to start days in the camel case format. So the thing I did kind of wrong was that I should have used this one here, because the variable names are here already updated, but it would return the same unless that the variable names are different. And if we execute it, so we can also see here we have the right name. And if we click on the query, then we can also see that it takes the correct variable, has the dates. And if we click on execute, then we have the same data that we also had here in BigQuery. And that's it actually regarding the Custom GPT. So definitely a really nice way to write SQL queries for BigQuery based on the bulk data export, without explaining first what is the bulk data export about, what's the schema, and so forth. And the last thing I want to show you is the cost of running these queries. And first of all, the bulk data export itself is completely for free. So the data that gets dumped from your Google Search Console into BigQuery, you don't have to pay anything for it. And apart from that, BigQuery also offers the first terabyte per month for free. And if you exceed this, then you have to pay $6.25. But if you look at the query and also how much data is consumed, then it's really low, because first of all, these queries do use where filters. So every query is written in a way that it does not query the complete data, because this could be expensive. So as an example, this query execution was 10 MB, which isn't a lot. And I can also tell you that, for instance, this report here has in total, I think, 7 BigQuery nodes, and all of them also consume roughly between 5 and 15 MB. So I can create a lot of reports without paying anything for it, because usually the free limit is enough. That's it regarding this video. In case you want to test this Custom GPT, it's available in the GPT store, but you can also find it within my free community, which will be here. And in case you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, and we will hear each other in the next video.